to Earstravagant Adventures. I'm your host, Rachel, alongside Katie.
Hi.
Here to whisk you away on another thrilling journey through the magical realms of Disney, Universal, and beyond. Let's race back in time to talk about the Dopey Challenge.
You said race back in time. That is precious.
But first, thank you to our sponsor, Alonzi Travel, the ultimate family theme park experts. Planning theme park trips can be overwhelming, but Alonzi Travel is here to make it stress-free. With their years of experience, they're your lightning lane to hassle-free travel. They handle all the details, allowing you to focus on having fun with your loved ones. Whether you dream of Hogwarts or Disneyland, they've got it covered, tailoring the trip to your family's needs. Visit alonzi-travel.com/take the trip for a magical adventure, especially a Run Disney adventure. We've got some race registrations coming up, and we can book through the end of 2025. So,
what race registrations are coming up? Maybe someone might be interested. Probably
Wine
not.
and Dine is the next one.
Okay.
Run Disney. I think February 11th.
Good to know.
Yes. So it's coming up quick, fast, and in a hurry.
And are you going to be doing Wine and Dine this year?
No.
Okay, so let's get into it. Let's talk about your trip. Where did you stay?
I stayed at the Polynesian, as should be a surprise to nobody.
Holly, love it. The best. Absolutely.
We stayed in the deluxe studio. So that, because I wanted to be on the monorail, for those of you who don't know, for sure, during marathon weekend. The monorail takes you to the Run Disney start line on the half marathon and the full marathon day. You still have to take bus transportation on the 5K and the 10K, but the monorail is just peace of mind. I've never had an issue with it. It takes me 10 minutes to get to start line. It's great. So we always stay the Polynesian for marathon weekend. We checked in on Tuesday, and I checked out on Monday, went to the boardwalk,
long trip,
and then went on a cruise. So
yeah, long trip.
Yes, well, you're about to ask me about a race schedule, but the expo starts on Wednesday, and for Dopey runners, you have to go on Wednesday. So I could arrive on Wednesday, and we'll get into why I didn't, but you have, as a Dopey runner, you have to be there Wednesday.
Okay. Yeah, that's my next question is, what were your park plans, and what is the race schedule like for Dopey? Because Dopey is intense. Maybe we should just start with like a definition of what Dopey is.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what I ran, so this usually like the second or third week in January is marathon weekend. So it's the only weekend at Walt Disney, only Run Disney race weekend at Walt Disney World where you can run a marathon. All the other race weekends, well, not all of them, Princess and Wine and Dine are, the longest distance is a half marathon, and then Springtime Surprise, the longest distance is a 10-miler. So the only time you can run a marathon at Walt Disney World is during marathon weekend. Yes. Yeah. Now, there are two challenges that you can do. There's the Goofy Challenge, which is where you run the half marathon on Saturday and then the full marathon on Sunday. Or you can do the Dopey Challenge, which is running the 5K on Thursday, the 10K on Friday, the half marathon on Saturday, and the full marathon on Sunday. So the reason she's asking me about your park strategy is because, as you can imagine, running 48.6 miles in 4 consecutive days is very hard. And I made a TikTok about this. I haven't posted it yet. But like, some people will do like park open to close and still also run all these race events. I don't recommend that for normal people.
No.
At all. So we'll talk about, because this was my friend's first Dopey and also her first marathon. So this is actually a really good example of what I would recommend clients doing if they were running Dopey or this was their first one, because it's minimal park time, but also it's a good balance where you need, like, your legs aren't going to be fresh, but you need your legs to not be dead. You need your feet not to be dead.
Post park day, like Epcot walking level day. Yeah.
So we arrived on Tuesday, like I said. We went to the expo on Wednesday and we did Magic Kingdom, but we left Magic Kingdom around 6.
Mhm.
And again, we're on the monorail, so it wasn't like it took us an hour to get back to our room. It takes us like 20 minutes to get back to our room because we're on the monorail. So we wanted to be in bed before 8 o'clock every night. Why? Why? That's so early. Why? Because you
Why?
have to be at your start corral before 4 a.m.
Woo!
So we got up at
Yeah.
2:30 a.m. So, you know, if you're going to bed at 8, that's still not like a full 8 hours of sleep. So
Mhm.
it's a long day. So Magic Kingdom, we'll talk about the expo. I have a note in there for you to talk to me about the expo. We'll
Okay.
get to the expo. So we didn't have a full day at Magic Kingdom, but we did do Lightning Lane so that we could ride some rides again without waiting in lines, because waiting in lines, time on your feet, it's exhausting. So
Standing, like people ask me all the time, don't your feet hurt at Disney? My feet only hurt at Disney when I'm standing in a line that doesn't move. If
yeah,
I'm walking, I'm good, I'm golden. But if I get stuck in a line, like if there's a technical difficulty or something, that kills my feet.
yeah, the standing in line is really, really brutal. So however you can minimize waiting lines is important. So
Mhm.
then the next day is our 5K day. We ran our 5K. You're done before the parks are open. My
Yeah.
friend Kim went to Hollywood Studios because she likes Hollywood Studios. So I'll talk about Hollywood Studios. So they went and they did Lightning Lane Multipass for Hollywood
Hmm.
Studios. We recommend Lightning Lane Multipass for Hollywood Studios regardless. So, you know, they did that. And
Yeah.
then they had lunch around noon, and then it was a quick service dinner. So that way she could decide if she wanted to stay in the parks with them longer or if she wanted to come back to the room. So she got back to the room around 7. And again, we were in bed by 8.
Hmm.
So, you know, minimize the time on your feet. Then the next day is the 10K. We did Animal Kingdom this day. I booked a single pass for Flight of Passage because we couldn't rope drop because
Because
of,
you were running. Yeah.
right, right. And this park opens early, so we couldn't rope drop Flight of Passage. So we got a single pass for Flight of Passage. Kim got her family multi-pass for Animal Kingdom, but that's just because this is like their only trip. And, you
Hmm.
know, she
Hmm.
wanted them to ride everything. I didn't do it. I did wait in a 60-minute line for the safari.
No, you did not.
I did. And I regretted it, but
Oh man.
it was all of those 60 minutes too.
Mhm,
And the
mhm.
whole time I'm like, you were
I've
stupid.
always found that the posted wait time for Safari is either correct or it is longer than it actually says. Like,
Yeah, so I was hoping it'd be like 45 minutes. No, it was all 60
mhm.
minutes. But so when I got done with the safari, I'm like, we need to leave the park.
My legs hurt. Bye.
My legs hurt, my feet hurt. I have a half marathon the next day.
Hmm.
This is not great. So I left the park at like 4. So I
Decent.
wasn't asleep, but yeah, I got back to the room. I put my feet up. I did some work.
Hot tub. Hot tub time.
No, not this day. So I had dinner at Captain Cook's because Captain Cook's is the best quick service
So
on
good.
Disney property. So good.
Yes.
And we had lunch at Saltuli Canteen. So another thing you got to keep track of when you're running a marathon is your carb intake, which you feel like
Hmm.
it's not that hard, but I actually realized I'm a low carb person and not even intentionally because I love carbs. So I had to we ate popcorn. I had at Saltuli Canteen, I got the potato base instead of the noodle
Hmm.
base. Like you have to keep track of your carbs. Also
You
really
have to
important.
make some decisions,
Yeah.
because you
So
want,
at
I would imagine you want the carbs without the sugar. Like, you don't want that sugar, but remember, I'm not a runner, so I don't know.
No, you
Um,
do. Yeah, I mean, sugar is carbs, but you don't because my friend was like, "Well, we should just get the carbs that you can just put in your drink." I'm like, "No, you want the carbs that like take a while to digest, so
yeah,
that way they're in
the
your
long
system for
acting.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah." So carbs. And then I had the pizza at Quick Captain Cook's because obviously.
Yeah, you're a
And then
pizza girl.
the next is the half marathon. This is a no park day. So after the half marathon, we chilled at the hotel. We went to the hot tub even though it was 50 degrees. And then we went to Disney Springs for dinner, had some Italian food. We only spent like 2 hours at Disney Springs, so we walked maybe a mile because you do want to still move.
Yeah, because you don't want to.
You
I
don't
don't
want
know
your
what the
muscles
word
to
is.
like,
Seize.
yeah,
Yeah,
you want to keep
yeah.
moving, but you don't want to move a ton. You don't want to be on your feet. So we walked a little bit at Disney Springs. We went to Enzo's Hideaway for dinner, which was fine. And like I said, we did the hot tub, it was nice. It was nice.
Mhm.
It was
I like a hot tub when it's cold outside. Like and 50 is
I
cold.
don't. I hated it. So yeah, it was, I don't like a cold day for the hot tub, but it does let me stay in the hot tub longer. So, you know, so we were in bed tonight because this was so weird. So when I first did my marathon with Disney in 2017, first of all, I just did the marathon in 2017. It was cold like this, but they started the race at 5:30. A couple years ago, they moved it up to start at 5. This year it started at 4:30.
Oh, it was chilly.
It was cold, but it was also like, it's just so hard to get up 30 minutes earlier when it's that early. So we had to get up at 2. So I think we were in bed by like 7 on the Disney Springs day. So that way we could like wind down, just like, even if we can't fall asleep, our bodies are at rest, which is really important. So then we got up at 2, got dressed and ready, and got to the marathon. Now I will say we did know the cold weather was coming. So we had Mylar blankets, we had throwaway clothes, we had cheap fleece blankets from Walmart. So we were like, okay.
Throwaway clothes, you mean like something that you don't care if you pull off mid-marathon and throw it?
Yeah,
like,
this was stuff that we had planned on taking to Goodwill.
Yeah, got it.
Yeah, so like, no, I don't care. And then after the marathon, my friend Kim went to Disney Springs with her family because they were leaving that day. But me and Joe went to Epcot. So again, like, you want to walk around a little bit. I wanted Via Napoli.
Yeah, you wanted your pizza. You deserve it.
Needed my pizza. Usually we do Artist Point after the marathon, but this time I was like, no, I don't want to stress about only getting a couple hours in a park. I don't want to do that. So let's just do Via Napoli because I will definitely want my pizza, and then we'll do Artist Point the next day. So we did a couple hours in Epcot. We rode, Soarin' had a 20-minute wait. So we rode Soarin', we rode Spaceship Earth. Joe had a Lightning Lane for Cosmic Rewind, so he rode that. And then we walked through the countries a little bit, got to Italy, got a ton of stuff at Germany. So I have my Germany goods all stocked away. We had pizza, and then I'm like, I was gonna be like, let's go in Spaceship Earth, but after we were done with dinner, I'm like, I want to go to bed. So
I want to leave. So let's hop on the monorail.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then we did that, and then the next day we did Magic Kingdom. So Monday we had breakfast at Crystal Palace for our churro waffles. We did Lightning Lane Premier Pass this day, which we'll have a whole nother conversation about.
You did Premier Pass.
I did Premier Pass.
I didn't even know you were planning to do it.
And then we did Artist Point for dinner, because if you didn't know, Artist Point is the only place where you can meet Dopey. And obviously we had run Dopey. We had the medals. I have my medals here so we can talk about them again. But
let's see.
For those listening, I'm showing you my Dopey medal, and I'm showing you that Dopey signed it on the ribbon.
Perfect.
Yeah, so that was the big thing. I wanted him to sign my medal, and so I took this and got him to sign it. It's the only place you can meet him. You used to be able to meet him on the cruise that they did for the Castaway Key Challenge, but we're not going to talk about that because I'm going to get really angry about it.
Okay, we're not going to talk about it.
Okay, so that's the race schedule and the parks that we did. Now,
and then you checked out and went on a cruise.
Yeah, well, we checked out on Wednesday. We went on a cruise on Wednesday. But the reason we did the parks in that order is because, number one, Magic Kingdom is the most walking. So Magic Kingdom made the most sense to do before a 5K, because the 5K, you're not on your feet as much. Same with Animal Kingdom. You can do that park kind of in a half day. So doing that one before the half marathon also made sense because it's a half day park. And then I did Magic Kingdom when Kim did Hollywood Studios, but Magic Kingdom, that was the day I was a Grand Marshal. So, you know.
She missed out.
She did miss out, but that's okay because she had a great time with her family. She got to ride all the roller coasters that she likes. So we were both happy campers doing things that we loved. It was great. So that's the schedule. What's next?
That's not your first Dopey, right? You've done the Dopey challenge before.
Excuse me. No, that's my third Dopey.
Third Dopey. What is your training schedule? What do you do at home to get ready for Dopey?
Well, Dopey training is 6 months long. It starts in July. Dopey training is longer than marathon training. Marathon training is 18 weeks. That's usually how long you train for. I'm using air quotes, just a marathon. But with Dopey, you have 2 what they call simulator weekends, which it works out great timing because one is always Thanksgiving and one is always Christmas.
Yeah.
That's deep, deep sarcasm if my listeners couldn't pick up on that.
That's
Deep
just
sarcasm.
what you want to do on Thanksgiving and Christmas week is go
right.
simulate.
Right. So these simulators are you run 4 days in a row and you run close to those distances. So the second simulator we did a 3 mile, a 5 mile, a 10 mile, and a 20 mile. 4 days in a row. So that gets your body semi-trained to run the distances. But you just build up, and how you do it, I highly recommend you have a running coach. My friend Amy is a running coach. She has done 5 Dopies. I think she's done 2 more than me. So she knows how to get you trained, but it is a long process. You do have to make sacrifices. You have to get up really early sometimes, like in the state of Texas, it's hot. So many times we would start at like 4:30 a.m. You know, so you have to make sacrifices to train for this. Not just time, but like you shouldn't really drink a lot of alcohol. You should pay attention to what you eat. You know, you have to just be super, super mindful. So the training is the hardest part. Like, I don't know if, well, if you're not a runner, you might not have heard this, but the race is your victory lap. The training is the hard part. The race is the easy part. So just if you can get through the training, you can do the race.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is all good training. You know, you were training to make whatever you were doing feasible, easy.
Yes.
Not easy because it's never easy, but you know, it's doable.
I mean, at this point, a 5K and a 10K are easy.
Yeah.
For me. But
you run that amount every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A 5K for sure. Yeah. But a marathon is still hard. Dopey will always be hard because Dopey is not only at Walt Disney World, but it's 4 days in a row of running. Each distance is getting longer. You're fatigued. Dopey will always be hard.
Yeah. What is your biggest personal challenge to the Dopey? Like, what do you struggle with the most? Is it the training, the sacrifices, not the race itself? It sounds like.
No, the early wake up calls are really hard, and like not doing the parks fully is really hard.
That's where I would have issue because, like, you know, I joke all the time that, like, or my husband jokes all the time. He's like, eventually you're going to go so much that we don't have to go in the parks and you can just chill. And I'm like, I don't think we ever will. I'm not a chill girl on vacation. I have trouble relaxing at all. And I want to go.
Yeah, it's really hard because we didn't watch the fireworks at all. And I'm a fireworks person. So that was tough. Also, it depends on who you're with. So, Kim doesn't like characters as much as I do, so we didn't meet as many characters, which is fine because I had time afterwards to meet my characters. But yeah, it's a very different. Dopey is different from doing like another challenge. So doing the challenge for Wine and Dine, that is different than Dopey. Like we limited park time a little bit, but it wasn't like we did for Dopey. But any Run Disney vacation, it's not park open and park close. And I like park open and park close.
Definitely. And we've talked about this before when we covered other Run Disney events that you've had, you know, that, you could make a race weekend your first trip and your family's first trip, but probably not with Dopey because you're going to have to sacrifice more park time, would you say?
I mean, it depends. If your family is a more chill family, then maybe Dopey's perfect for them because you won't be able to do max days in the parks, and maybe that is a good fit for them. But if your family is like open to close, needs to see the fireworks, needs to do everything, then no, a first trip being Dopey is not a good idea.
Okay, how do you get all your race items? Tell us about the expo, the dreaded expo.
Yeah, so the expo you have to go to get your bib. For Dopey runners, you actually get 2 bibs. So one bib you use, which I think I have. I put one in the trash because I messed it up. This is a race bib. Okay. It has a timing chip on the back, which had so much drama this race weekend. I don't have a 10K time because it wasn't working.
No.
But this is on the front. So your corral is here. I'm not going to speak about why it's missing. Your bib number is here, your name is here. So this is how you get into the race. If you don't have a bib, they won't let you into the corrals, and the corrals is where it's like a holding area to let you go to the start line. So you cannot get to the start line without a bib. You won't get your bib unless you go to the expo. You cannot have somebody else pick this up for you. You have to pick it up yourself with a photo ID. So the only way you can get this is at the expo. The expo always starts a day before the first race. Since the 5K was on Thursday, the expo started on Wednesday. Since we were running Dopey, we had to go on Wednesday. And there was 8,000 Dopey runners.
That sounds like a lot.
8,000 people had to get their bibs. There were lines upon line. It took me 45 minutes to get my bib. Woo. And they have a virtual queue for Run Disney merchandise. My virtual queue number was like 50. The expo started at 10 a.m. I didn't call until 1 p.m. I didn't get called until 1 p.m.
And you were 50.
I was 50.
Was there any merch left?
Not really, no. So part of the drama is Club Run Disney, which is super expensive, and we're not even going to talk about it because it makes me angry. They get priority entry into the Run Disney merchandise floor, and Club Run Disney people were saying that merchandise was already selling out for them.
That doesn't sound right.
Yeah, correct. Disney knows how many Dopey runners there are, and this problem is getting worse, not better. So
we talked about this with Wine and Dime. There was a merch issue.
The only Dopey merch left when I got there was a Tech t-shirt and a Tech long sleeve shirt and the button and the pins and the magnets. They had also a sweatshirt. They had 2 sweatshirts. They had, I think, pants. They had a t-shirt. All of that was gone.
Oh.
Yeah. So the expo.
Did we really do something if we don't have the merch to prove we did it?
Exactly.
That's our mindset. Like, you know.
Exactly. And
if you didn't get the merch, you didn't do it.
What gets me is, like, because of mobile checkout, there's no limits on how many things you can purchase.
That was my next question, is because, you know, I would hope that people are not buying multiples to resell, but it's a common problem with Disney. So there's not a limit.
Technically there is, but they also have mobile checkout. And if you have mobile checkout, then you can buy as many as you want. So yes, scalpers are a huge problem. The sweatshirt that I wanted, it was super cute. It said Marathon Weekend on it. It was like a varsity thing. It had like the really nice embroidery and everything. It was going on eBay for $700.
That makes me so mad.
Yeah.
Like, I am livid.
Yeah. And my friend who had number 13, she was group 13, that sweatshirt was sold out for her. And she was group 13.
And see, like, I would be so mad because, like, if I had put all this effort and done all this training and I can't even get a t-shirt from my experience, like, I would be big mad.
Luckily, this wasn't my first one. But like I still yet to have gotten a Dopey jacket, which I want a Dopey jacket, and I have yet to be able to get one. So the Run Disney race merch is like, it's a huge pain, but the lines in general are horrible. So like I said, it took me 45 minutes to get in and get my bib. And once you get your bib, then I don't know if you can tell, but the top is perforated because there's a tag you tear off for your t-shirts. So then you have to go to the expo where a bunch of different vendors set up and get your t-shirts. So then that was a 20-minute line to just get into the expo floor. And I was so overwhelmed. I didn't look at anything. I just got my shirts and left. We did get the special race weekend beer, which was a strawberry sour, which was nice. And then we waited around to get called for the Run Disney merch. And we were only the only thing I bought was the replica pin of the medal for Alonso and a magnet. That's it.
So all of that, like, it feels like you wasted a whole day. You're at Disney. You could be doing all this other things, but you're waiting for something that you can't even get.
Yeah, and we, like I said, we don't have an option. You have to pick up your bib on Wednesday. So, we could have probably gone later, But then, you know, we really wouldn't have had any Disney merch. But like, regardless, we had to go on Wednesday.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, race recovery. What does that look like when you're also still trying to have a vacation at Disney at the same time?
Well, your shoes are super important.
Mhm.
So it was cold and I wanted to wear my OOFOS and I couldn't, but
I
luckily
don't
I
know what that
wore.
is. What are OOFOS?
They're recovery sandals. They're made
Oh,
for
okay.
marathoners and plantar fascia. They're the ugly plastic. They're
Mhm.
ugly, but they're so comfortable. So I couldn't wear those because it was so cold, but I had my really, really cushiony tennis shoes. So I wore those. But big thing is going back to your room early. Also putting your feet up. So like laying on your back and putting your feet on the wall so the blood can drain from your feet. That's super helpful. I also have, it's a TENS unit. So it's this little thing that has 2 pads and you put the pads anywhere. I put them on my feet because I have feet issues, but Kim put them on her knee and basically it shocks your body.
Mm.
So that, lots of people don't recommend Advil. I take an anti-inflammatory every day. So
Yeah.
I don't know. It's not Advil, but I take an anti-inflammatory every day because your body is just going to continue to be inflamed, inflamed, inflamed.
Mm.
So monitor that and electrolyte the crap out of yourself.
Yeah.
Not Liquid
Push
IV
'em.
either. Liquid IV is trash electrolytes.
Really?
Yeah, it's
What do
total
you prefer?
trash. I like Salud. It
Mhm.
is a independent company and they have like agua fresca flavors, but like
Nice.
one packet of Salud looks like a quarter of a packet of Liquid IV. It has less sugar, more electrolytes. It also has vitamin C in it. So I like Salud a lot better. Relight is good if you're low on sodium. So if you're in general not getting enough salt in your body, Relight is a salt company. So theirs is like based in salt, but I don't like Liquid IV. It's too much sugar, way too
Well,
much
you know
sugar.
they have the sugar-free ones now. I don't know if you've
Look,
tried
I
those.
put 1 Liquid IV in 42 ounces of water and I still think it's too sweet.
Yeah, I mean it's sweet. It's sweet. That's why I use it in the parks with the kids because I know they're going to drink it.
Yeah.
You know.
But
So.
I like Salud. It has better stuff. So I would make sure I have 2 of those a day. Because even though you're not sweating in the cold, you're still like water is evaporating off your body.
Mhm.
So you have to make sure you replenish that. And I found during the marathon that Powerade actually upsets my stomach. So, and they give you, we'll talk about this. They give you Powerade after
Yeah,
race to
that's a
drink it, but I'm
question.
like, oh. So I stuck with my stuff because it sat better. And when you're running a
Mhm.
marathon, like I said earlier, you really have to pay attention to what you're putting into your body because a 5K and a 10K, it's fine. Your body can handle a lot.
Yeah.
Even a half marathon, but a marathon, you're going to be putting your body through a lot of stress. And if you're giving it new stuff or stuff that it's not used to, it will
Mhm.
rebel against you. And let me tell you, you
Mhm.
don't want to be hunting for a porta potty at mile 18.
I would be done. Like I'm like, oh, I have issues now. I won't finish this race because of this.
Well,
No.
no, once you get to mile 18, you're like, I better go poop in the woods because there's no way I'm not finishing this.
Lord.
Trust
Okay.
me.
Okay. What on race day? What does arrival and your pre-race look like?
So you could be coming from anywhere, but one of the reasons we highly recommend staying on site is because Disney does provide race day transportation. So you don't have to worry about parking. You don't have to worry about road closures, nothing. You just get on a Disney bus and, well, it's a charter bus, but you get on a charter bus. They take you to Epcot where you have to go through security. You get your bib checked several times and then you arrive to this holding area. In the holding area, they have food and drinks. They have gear check if you need to check any gear. They have a DJ. They have 4 different characters to meet. It's just a lively party atmosphere. No other race that I've been to has this kind of atmosphere, so that's really cool. Like I said, you can take pictures with characters pre-race. The same characters that are there pre-race are there post-race as well.
Nice.
So you can take pictures with them. For us, Dopey was always there. And then the other 3 would rotate. Once it got to half marathon day, it was always Dopey and Goofy. And then the other 2 would rotate, but those were always there. Then there's porta potties everywhere. Don't worry.
All the potties.
I never had to wait in line for a porta potty. So many porta potties. And then your bib gets you into your corral. So they have balloons with your corral number. We always tried to get into our corral at 4, and the race started at 5, because the further up in the corral you are, the faster you're going to start. The faster you're going to start means the faster you're going to be done. So that was always our strategy. We were in corral D, which is okay. Out of G, it's fine. I'm working to earn my place in corral B, but that's going to take a minute.
How do you get to corral B?
You have to have a proof of time. So to get in the faster corrals, you have to have a 2:30 or 2 hour and 30-minute half marathon time or faster, and you have to submit that before a cutoff time. I don't have that yet. We're working.
You'll get it.
I'm working.
You'll get it.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
So lots of there's DJs, and then after 4. They have 2 race announcers. It's usually always Carissa Galloway and John Pelkey. They're hilarious. They tell you who the sponsors are. They talk to you about the race. They give you reminders, and then they let the runners off. They always do the national anthem. They always have characters that start the race. And then as the race goes, each wave they do little fireworks at the start line, which is really fun. So yeah, it's a cool vibe.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let's talk more about the course. Where do you run? Where are you running?
Well, let's talk about each course, because each course is different. So the 5K is completely in Epcot. You enter by test track. Well, you do a loop on the street. Then you enter in by test track. You go around World Showcase. And then you come out the Epcot ball and to the finish line.
I could do that.
Yeah, you could do that. There's a Discord server that I was following that had all the characters. So I can tell you, because it had a final list.
Cool. That's nice. That's nice.
Yes, it was so helpful, because as people were running by, they'd be like, I saw so-and-so at this mile. I saw so-and-so. So helpful. So I have it.
I love that. Teamwork.
Mickey was out in his director outfit. The Hag from Snow White. Pinocchio, Miss Bunny from Bambi. Jose and Panchito. And then the Epcot ball. So there was 5 characters for the 5K.
Well, got it.
Which is great, because previously they used to only have 1 character a mile, and that was not okay. Now that they have more characters, the lines are a little bit more manageable. So for the 5K, the course is great. It's dark through Epcot. They have fun music. They have characters. Great. For the 10K, very similar course. You enter Epcot. You do Epcot for a little bit. You go around the boardwalk, the yacht club, the beach club, and then you come back and exit. So you really just add the boardwalk piece onto it. Mm-hmm. And it's basically the same course. Those characters there was a lot. Clarice, the 3 pigs, the Mad Hatter, Ugly Duckling, Cinderella Mice, Tweedledee and Tweedledum, Sleeping Beauty Fairies, Hook and Smee, Goofy, Donald, Peter Pan, and Wendy.
Those are good characters.
Yeah,
that's good. That's good. Like, I wouldn't finish because I would want to meet every single one of them.
Yeah, that was 11 characters. We only stopped for the 3 fairies because I haven't actually met them before. But you also have to look at the lines, because sometimes the lines are really long.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, that would be the hardest part for me. I would be like, I have to stop here. And then I would sweep myself out, because I have now stopped at all of the characters and waited in the line.
Well, the 5K is not timed. The 10K, you have to maintain a 16-minute mile. So yes, there is a possibility of being swept. So you do have to manage your time. But that's why we only stopped for the Hag at the 5K, because her line was super long. And then the 3 fairies, no one else was like, I wanted to meet.
Yeah.
Because Donald was in a white tux and he looked naked. So we didn't stop.
Sorry.
Even Kim was like, is he wearing anything? And I'm like, yeah, he has it was like
I know the outfit. I feel like I've seen that outfit before. Like, I know
I've never seen this outfit before. There was not a stitch of color on it.
Oh my gosh. Did you snap a picture of it?
No, I'm sure somebody has one though. But like,
yeah,
because we'll talk about the half now. So the half, was raining the entire hour before the start.
Oh no.
So we were in line to meet Naked Donald and Daisy, but because of the rain, they had to go inside.
Mm-hmm.
So no. So that was the only miserable part. It was cold and rainy. It did kind of stop and then it started again. So the half was kind of a mess, but at least they didn't cancel it. So the half, they changed the course this year. So you went for a second through Epcot, and then you made your way to Magic Kingdom, and they flipped how you went to Magic Kingdom. So this time you would go up the new street that goes by the Polynesian villas, the new ones, and then you went on the walkway from the Grand Floridian to Magic Kingdom.
That little walkway?
Yeah, yes, that little walkway.
Tiny.
I know.
I have walked that walkway many a times. That's tiny. I can't imagine
it is, and it was
going through there.
Very dangerous. Many people were running into stuff because it was so crowded. You couldn't see like the barrier thingies.
Well, there's like greenery and bushes and some trees and like, yeah.
Okay. It was not good. And then you entered in down Main Street, and then instead of going to the right through Tomorrowland, you went to the left and went through Adventureland by Tiana's Bayou, up in Frontierland, up It's a Small World, and then you came through the castle and then out to Tomorrowland.
I like that.
And then you go down by the Contemporary, through the parking lot, back through Epcot, and then you're at the finish line. So these characters, hold on.
This is the half marathon, correct?
Correct. Did somebody post a full list? Nobody posted a full list here. Oh, dang. Hold on. Cruella, Mary and Bert, the Penguins, Baloo, King Louie, Prince John, Sheriff of Nottingham, Marie, Mickey and Minnie, Jack Sparrow and Barbossa, Hitchhiking Ghost, which was a selfie, Rapunzel and Flynn in front of the bathrooms, by the way, Lewis and Wilbur from Meet the Robinsons.
Yes.
Big Al, Piglet, Tigger, Daisy and Donald, Robin Hood, Shaker, who is a Country Bear character, Miko, and Darkwing Duck.
I would have to stop for Barbossa. Like, I wouldn't been able to run past that.
We stopped for Mary and Bert, and their line was really long. And then Kim and I separated after that because it was just super congested and we lost track of each other. But I stopped for Prince John, Rapunzel and Flynn because they were in front of their bathrooms, obviously.
And you had a potty. Yeah.
And I stopped for Robin Hood. I didn't stop. I wanted to stop for Daisy and Donald. They were in like cowboy outfits, but their line wasn't really moving. I'm like, I need to get out of here. So yeah. So the half, that was nice. What I liked about the course, I didn't like the narrow part that we just talked about, but I liked that it was different than it had been in years past. So it kind of kept you on your toes, like, oh, what's happening? Where am I going to go next? Because I've ran the old course many times, and I prefer the old course, but this one I was like, oh, where are we going now? Oh.
Yeah, it gets something to get your brain engaged because I've heard that's the hardest part. But I've heard this because you've told me. It's when you get in your head because like marathons are long and you just have this to keep you company. Yeah.
Yeah. I had my headphones though, because Kim and I had talked about possibly separating. So I had my headphones. So I did have a podcast I was listening to. So it was okay. But it was also like, oh, this is where we're going? Oh, how am I going to get my castle shot? You're taking me in the castle the wrong way. Like it was a whole thing. So,
yeah.
It was fun. And then the full marathon, the big draw for the full marathon is that you go through all 4 parks. So I did not like how they changed this course.
Okay.
Lots of people did not like it. So first of all, it started 30 minutes early, which was a big problem, which we'll talk about. They also changed the course. So you went through Epcot first instead of last, which I hated. I hated it a whole lot. So you went through Epcot and then you did that same route to get to Magic Kingdom. So getting to Magic Kingdom was the same. And then you did like a freaking lap in the Magic Kingdom parking lot. And then you went to Animal Kingdom. So to get to Animal Kingdom was the same way. You went through the same parts of Animal Kingdom. They did not have single rider open for Expedition Everest. So people couldn't ride Expedition Everest.
Ooh.
Yeah. Dinoland was still open. So we ran through Dinoland. And then we made it to Then you had to go through a boring stretch. So you leave Animal Kingdom around mile 17, and then you don't get to another park until mile 24.
A lot of highway.
All highway, and then a mile of Blizzard Beach parking lot. Lame. And then you get to Hollywood Studios. You enter in Hollywood Studios where Fantasmic is. You run past Tower of Terror, and then you immediately exit the park. So you spend no time in Hollywood Studios, which is stupid.
Yeah.
Stupid. I mean, I don't like Hollywood Studios, but still, like, give me a couple extra feet.
I know nothing, right? I know nothing. But if you took out the lap in the parking lot of Magic Kingdom and the lap in the parking lot at Blizzard Beach, wouldn't you be able to run more into Hollywood Studios?
I mean, at least the lap in the Magic Kingdom parking lot, because that was weird. You could add a half a mile in Hollywood Studios, and then you could add that half a mile back into Epcot, so that you always have to take that terrible stretch from from Hollywood Studios to Epcot. You know the one I'm talking about? It's really, really narrow, that walkway. So you always have to do that. That's fine. And then you run down the boardwalk, which is fine. And then you go to Epcot, which is fine. But how it used to be is you would enter in, and then you would go around World Showcase, France, and then exit at Mexico. They changed it where you don't get World Showcase at all.
Oh, sacrilegious.
So people didn't get their beer. People didn't get their margarita. People didn't get their finish line drinks. I didn't get my finish line margarita. I was so annoyed. Granted, this is also when I found out Powerade didn't sit well with me. So my husband had texted me. He's like, if you keep at this pace, I don't think I can get you a margarita, because the margaritas don't start selling until 11.
Yeah, slow down.
Well, and I was going at a comfortable pace, but it would have been fine if the race had started at 5. But the race started at 4:30, and I totally forgot that. So I had texted him, and I'm like, look, I actually feel not super great, so let's nix the margarita and get me a finish line pineapple cider. So that's what he did, and that was totally fine. I told him no on the margarita, and I passed the spot where he was going to give me a margarita at 10:57. So I was still before they were even selling the margaritas.
Well, do you think that is the reason for all of the change, for less impact of the parks?
Well, for sure, but like part of the draw is people would finish with Mickey pretzels, and I passed the Mickey pretzel stand. I was like, oh my God, I should totally get a Mickey pretzel right now. But I was like, it was mile 25.6, and I'm like, I want to be done. So I didn't. But people would finish with Mickey pretzels, and then people later on were able to get their beers and stuff. But like, that is a huge draw. People would ride Rock and Roller Coaster. People would do single rider for Expedition Everest. Like, that is a huge thing for these races, and for them to change it so that way you can't.
I didn't know much about Run Disney until TikTok, because the first things that I were seeing was runners posting on Rock and Roller Coaster, posting on Expedition Everest. And like, this is when, we first started our love affair with TikTok. And I was like, how cool is that? I just thought you went and ran a race. I didn't know that there was time to stop to do other stuff.
I mean, time is relative. So you have to keep the 16-minute mile. So if you start in Corral G, you're probably not going to have time to ride these rides, because Corral G, they do the corrals based on times. So the slower you are, the further back you are. So if you start in Corral G and your pace is 16-minute mile, you can't stop for stuff. But if you're in like a Corral D, I could do some of them. I wasn't comfortable doing all of them, because still I'd like to have a cushion. But the further up you are, yes, you can do those things. And it is a huge draw. And I was going to do Expedition Everest. But again, the Powerade was messing up my stomach. And I'm like, I don't need the anxiety of a roller coaster plus the mess that is the Powerade in my body to combine together to create a perfect storm. So we're going to skip that.
Do you have the character list for the marathon?
I do. It's a long Goofy, Max, Pain and Panic, that switch with Megan Hercules, Chip and Dale, Flip and Annetta, Jack Skellington, Mickey and Minnie, Selfie, Bruno and Mirabelle, Pooh, Sebastian, Angel and Sparky, which are Stitch characters, Woody and Jessie, Mulan and Li Shang, Aladdin, Darth Vader, Captain Phasma, Ray, Doug and Russell, Tarzan and Jane, Donald, Lilo and Stitch, Lotso, Frozone, Bolt, Scrooge McDuck, Coda, Oogie Boogie, Daisy, Timon, and Olaf.
Those are good characters. Who'd you stop
And this
for?
is so many characters. And I stopped for Pain and Panic.
Yes.
Bruno, because Mirabelle wasn't there. Mulan and Li Shang. Tarzan and Jane. Donald. Scrooge McDuck.
Good.
And Daisy.
You made good choices.
Yeah,
And
I
who?
stopped for a lot. I did Daisy too. And then I also stopped. They had a Hollywood Studios Tower of Terror photo op. And then they had a Spaceship Earth photo op. So I stopped for both of those. And then there was like also a castle photo op, and I stopped for that. So I stopped for me.
Yeah.
Quite a bit. They also, I didn't mention, but for the half and the full, they also have DJs throughout the course. They have movie screens throughout the course. They have live entertainment. They have marching bands. They had some Disney performers. They had some comedians. Like, so they did have a lot better course support in that way, entertainment, than they have in the past. But it's not just the characters. There's other stuff as well, because it is, unlike some of the world majors, you don't really have people spectating. So Disney does try and make up for that by having on-course entertainment.
Yes. Okay, so speaking of the beers and the Mickey pretzels and all of that, how much fuel do you bring to have on your person versus how much does Disney have on the race course for y'all?
Disney doesn't have enough for what I fuel for, so I take a fuel every 3 miles. Disney for the half marathon only gives you sports beans at mile 8. So most people bring their own fuel. So I just keep it in my pockets on my person. But where Disney does a great job is the water and Powerade stations. So those are pretty much every mile. So I don't bring, if it's good weather, I don't bring my water with me, because I know Disney's going to have enough and I'm going to be fine. For the marathon, they had fuel about every 5 miles, and they had sports beans, bananas, and chocolate wafers. I didn't take any of that because sports beans don't sit well with me.
Yeah.
I had just taken fuel and I didn't eat a banana, and the wafers were like super dry and there wasn't a water station to be seen. So I didn't take those either. So I always bring my own fuel. And by fuel, I mean I have applesauce, I have Pop-Tarts, I keep all that on me, but I use Disney's water stations because they religiously have enough water stations. And when it's hot, they add extra. So Disney is one of the few places where I'm like, I'm okay if I don't have my water on me, because I know that they'll have me taken care of.
Awesome. What about post-race?
So post-race, you finish, you get your medal, and they give them to you in a plastic bag now, because they were getting so dinged up, and I can show you what that looks like. But they give them to you in a plastic bag now, because they used to have them just all hanging, and they would just get all banged up. My Goofy one's fine too. It's my marathon one, and I dropped my marathon one like 3 times.
Oh no.
I know. So you have that, and then you have the medical tent, and then see Minnie's shoe. It's missing the white.
Oh.
Yeah. That's my fault, though. I dropped her. Anyways, so the medical tent, in case you need it, since it was cold, they gave us Mylar blankets. So Mylar blankets are those
the silver
sheets,
rescue. Yeah.
And then they have water. You can take as much water. They're water bottles, sealed water bottles. You can take as many as you want. Then they have Powerade bottles of all different colors. You can take as many as you want. Then they have snack boxes, which is the thing runDisney's known for. Inside the snack box is the plastic cheese. It's delicious. Chips, and then a couple other things are in there, and then a banana, and then you exit by gear check, and then there's photo opportunities with a Run Disney background, and then you have paddles that say, I did it. Those characters are there. The beer, wine, coffee, champagne, all of that is there. And then the bus transportation, and they still have a DJ going at the main stage. So keep the party going post-race, but you get a lot of stuff after the race. Now, for Dopey, for the marathon, you also, lately, they've been giving you these ears.
Nice.
So I have 3 of these now. It's an ear hat that is for the marathon weekend. So I have this one and the other 2. Because I did it in 2017, and they didn't give us these in 2017.
Nice.
But in 2020, 2023, and now 2025, they gave us the ear hats for the weekend. And then once you get your ear hat, You either go on one side for just the marathon, or you go to a different side to get your challenge medals. So your bib is how people know what medals you get. They used to take your picture to verify all that. They don't do that anymore. So cheating is rampant in Run Disney. But that's where you get your challenge medals. I'm holding up the challenge medals for you listeners. I've got Goofy, which Goofy signed, you can see, and Dopey, which Dopey signed, which you can see. And you get those. And what I've started doing for Dopey is asking my husband to meet me post-race with my UFOs, because get these tennis shoes off my feet post haste. It was cold, so I asked him to bring me my sweatshirt, and he brings me the rest of my medals, so that way I can take the finish line photos with all my medals. So do you want to see all the medals?
Yes, I asked you a couple episodes before.
And I came prepared. Okay, so this one is the Pluto one. He doesn't move much, but he does move a little. So that's Pluto, and Pluto signed it really, really small. You can barely see that. So that's Pluto.
I mean, he's a dog. We'll excuse him.
I should have told. I wasn't paying attention to him. Otherwise, I would have told him to do it bigger. The 10K is super fun. It's got Chip and Dale, and they slide in front of the castle.
Oh, that's cute. I like that one.
So this one's cute, and they were super cute when they signed it. I had them all signed on the cruise ship. And I showed them the medal, and I told them they ran, and they were arguing on who was faster, so they did a little race for me.
Oh, cute.
Super cute. So I have that. Joe videoed that, so I have that on video. But their medal has the castle on it, which I really like. The half marathon I think this is my favorite one, because it's Epcot, and it's got Daisy and Donald on it.
That is really cute.
And they signed the ribbon as well. And then I showed you the marathon, but here's a zoom out of the marathon one.
Yeah.
Again,
that's cute too.
This one's cute. And then Goofy was an anniversary year, so his says 20th. I think his is really good, actually.
I like that.
Yeah, how he's holding 3 medals, because you get 3 medals for doing the Goofy challenge.
Yeah.
And then Dopey is the biggest and heaviest, and this one opens.
Oh, I love that, because I love pins that move, in my pin collecting, and that's like one of the pins that open. I'm like, oh,
surprise! Oh. And on the back of all of them, it says Walt Disney World Marathon Weekend 2025. And they used to not say that. So they've made some improvements. Like in the past 2 years, Daisy is with Donald. It used to be just Donald on the half marathon. Now it's Daisy and Donald. It used to just be Mickey on the marathon. Now it's Mickey and Minnie. So I like that.
It's a phenomenon.
It's a phenomenon. Oswald used to be instead of Chip and Dale, which was weird, but I like this because it's, the Fab Five. It makes sense.
Yeah.
It's good. These medals, they're good quality. Dopey looks, and Kim said this, and it just, now I can't unsee it because she's so right. Dopey looks like he's got his makeup base on and hasn't finished doing his makeup.
Like me. We look similar in this moment.
He's just is so pale, and I agree. He does not look great. But whatever. It opens.
So, I love it. You kind of already answered this question, the whole, in everything. With the next question was, how does Dopey different than the other challenges? I think you covered it pretty well. You have anything else to say?
No, just that every challenge, you can feel like the other challenges are hard, and then you finish that challenge, and then you think, oh, I have to run a marathon tomorrow. Like a marathon by itself is a super difficult distance. That's why only 0.1% of the population have done a marathon. It is very hard. So to do a challenge, because the springtime surprise is you run the 5K, the 10K, and the 10 miler, which is 19.3 miles. To imagine that you haven't even covered half the distance or even the full distance that you have to do the next day, that's just as mind blowing. So adding a marathon onto something, crazy time. Yeah. Crazy time.
Wow.
That's all right. That.
What are your top tips for Run Disney weekends?
Make a costume. You're going to feel left out if you don't. Many people dress up. That is one of the fun things for the race weekend. So come with a costume to have the full experience. Give yourself a lot of time at the start line, because I like to meet characters. So like I like to meet a character before the race starts. So we would try to give ourselves like 30 minutes before we would want to get to the corral so we could at least meet one character. I also would like to meet a character post race and take, photo opportunities. Don't be a jerk and run like with your arms out and stuff when you see a PhotoPass photographer, because you block other people. Don't do that. It's rude. I'm so annoyed. PhotoPass photographers are all over the place. They do a good job. I had my finish line, Dopey finish line, marathon finish line ruined because someone decided to stop at the finish line, jump right in front of me, and I almost plowed into her because she veered over to get in front of me, do her little jump, and Karma's a bee. Her photo turned out horrible.
First of all, I'm shocked. Second of all, that's the first time I've ever heard you sound Southern, is when you just said jump right there. But that is egregious behavior. And I hate that for you.
I was so mad because I had a clear shot and I'm like, oh, yes. Like at the finish line, throw up your hands, because usually there's not people around you. Throw up your hands at the finish line. But like so many times, especially during like the 5K and the 10K, which are more congested courses, people would like veer in front of us and throw their hands out wide. And I'm like, now you blocked everybody in front of you. I could have had a cool Spaceship Earth photo just by like my little peace signs, which I'm known to do. And you're blocking me.
Yeah, with your hands right here.
Like I keep my hands right here.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll do them a little out.
It's millennial core.
Or I'll do a heart. Kim has got me to do a heart, so I sometimes do a heart. But like, I keep it to myself. So Kim and I, when we were Merlin and Madame Mim, because we didn't even talk about our costumes. Like,
we skipped it. Oh my gosh, they were precious.
Well, the best one was 10K anyway. So we were Merlin and Madame Mim, and we noticed people, like when we were on our walk breaks, people would like get in front of us and like block our picture. So I'm like, Kim, every time we see a PhotoPass photographer, we'll start running and we'll do our poses so people won't do that anymore, because we were like trying to be respectful of other people, and just doing our like little things, and people kept cutting us off, jumping in front of us, and we're like, nope, we're not doing this. So we would start running when we saw a PhotoPass, and we would do like, we were casting spells at each other because we were Merlin and Madame Mim. Obviously, we're dueling, obviously, and we both had one. So we were like one, and we had some good ones from the 10K, because we realized like if you're walking, people don't respect you, which is rude because Run Disney is full of run walkers. So if you want to do Run Disney, the Jeff Galloway is super, super popular. That's where you run for a certain amount of time and then you walk for a certain amount of time. Highly recommend. He's the one who does all the training plans. Highly recommend. So we were doing our run walk intervals, and I don't know, I was just getting annoyed about it. So we're like, fine, and then a couple times we linked arms. So like, you're not getting around us. You can behind us and respectfully wait, but you're not cutting us off anymore.
I'm just picturing this in my head while you're in these costumes. Like it was probably a sight.
It was, and it was actually good because the 10K was a cold day. So what I had was a cap and gown. So the gown, polyester, unbreathable material. So I actually kind of got warm in it because I had my
your own sauna.
Yeah, because I had like arm sleeves on, and then that, and my sports bra, and I had leggings on. So when I was down, I was like, my face was all sweaty because I had a beard on too.
I could never. All right. When is your next race? What's the plan?
Princess. I'm doing a perfect Walt Disney World season this year. So that means I'll have done every calendar race at Walt Disney World. So I started with Wine and Dine, then I did Marathon Weekend, next is Princess, and then Springtime Surprise.
And we're going to meet you there after Princess. We're not going to be there for race weekend, but we will be there the Sunday.
Sunday's the half marathon.
Well, I mean, but we'll be there in the afternoon. You could be all done with your run.
You can come cheer me on. Rude.
We have a dance competition that weekend, or I would have come in earlier. Like I would have come in earlier. So yeah.
Well, Sunday is the half marathon day. Next weekend is Princess. But the top tip for Run Disney Race Weekend is to book with a travel agent who knows about Run Disney. So way more of these, because every time we talk, I like forget something else that I want to say. But all of this is information that I give to my clients. And, you know, like I said, registration for Wine and Dine is just in a couple weeks. And if you want to run, you can get your package booked now. Highly recommend you book your package now.
Yep, because October will start filling up. It's October, right? Wine and Dine this year?
Yeah, this is the first time it's ever been in solidly in October. Usually it's the first weekend in November, but this one it is solidly.
I had clients, we had to move their package because we thought that it would be, and it wasn't. So,
yeah, crazy.
Yep.
So make sure you visit us at alonzi-travel.com/take-the-trip. Katie and I's socials are in the show notes. Hit us up. And until next time, happy running, friends.
Bye, guys.
Bye.